And out of all the people that I followed, Shawn brings the best value, so I gravitated towards him.
I started following him about a year ago on Periscope, and the information that he shares is first-class, top-notch stuff.
I am the original Livestream Mentor. I know there's a certain amount of people out there that are really, really wanting to succeed. And they'll do whatever it takes, just like I would. They just need someone to give them a chance. They need somebody that will listen to their story and help them with clear, concise direction and knowledge. So I started Asking Millionaires a way just to give back and help out other people. This was never designed to be a business. It was just something I did to help people out.
Since I've joined the group, I have taken my company to places I didn't even know I would be able to take it to.
Shawn is there, supportive and mentoring and coaching you through.
There's two things that you need as an aspiring entrepreneur or a small business owner. You need a group of like-minded individuals to draw support and focus and energy from, and then you need a mentor or an advisor of some sort, somebody who is where you want to be. Always have somebody in your life like that. You need those two things. And that's why I actually started my tribe.
Every single day I wake up, I look forward to getting on Facebook, checking out Most Won't I Will, see what my other tribe members are doing. It helps motivate me. It's the most positive thing in my entire day.
I think what's better is to give people resources to determine who they are and what they want, and then support what it is they want.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't. Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't. Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
Most won't.
I will.
No, I will.
I will. I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I
I will.
will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
We will.
Awesome, awesome. Let's give it up to Rick Dilley. He's the person that did that video in 24 hours. Thanks, Rick. You are the man. So, hey, let's start it off by bribing you guys for claps. Anybody want a T-shirt? All right. All right. Let's go all the way to the back. All right. All right, there we go. We should earn a little bit of audience there. All right, so first off, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that are live streamers in the room, because as a live streamer, I know how much you give of yourself selflessly and that you receive more than you ever will give. As you saw in that video, that's a lot of receiving from people that actually get something from what I do on live stream. So I just want to say thank you, and if you don't know, that if it wasn't for you, your tribe wouldn't have somebody to learn from. Your tribe wouldn't have somebody to connect with. If you didn't do it, no one else would. So thank you as a live streamer for doing that. So this leads me to my first question. I'm going to talk about how I actually turned this thing called live streaming into a business. But one of the number one questions that I get on live streaming is, if you're a millionaire, Shawn, why do you actually do this? I mean, come on. Why do you actually do this? And when I first started live streaming, I was really caught by surprise by that question, because nobody had really asked me that before. And it really started making me think, and I was like, I was getting all defensive. And as I look back at when I first started live streaming, I look at some of my old broadcasts, I'm like, man, I was like a real asshole. I was actually an asshole, because I got defensive, because in my real life of building a company up for 11 years, I had never heard some of the harshest comments that I'm sure some of you have heard in my entire life of doing business. And so it like hurt. I'm like, I don't have to do this. You know, people were cynical of just am I really who I am? Say I am. Am I really doing this, or is there some ulterior motive that you're not telling me about? I had never seen so much fear and cynicism in my life. So I got real defensive. I used to fight back. I used to have a thing called #Shawned, and that was my Periscope feature. that Periscope gave me for blocking. And so it actually turned into kind of a joke with my tribe. But so then I really started thinking about, why I was doing this. And I just took it back to my center, which was I'm doing this to give back. And over time, I learned that that's just part of social media. That's part of live streaming. It's just part of what's out there. And then I started to create methods and processes and answers to respond to those because they were right. Nobody knew who I was. In the business community and in the tribe that I was in business, I was known, but getting on live stream, I was just a normal guy. It didn't matter if I was a millionaire. It didn't matter if I had all the money in the world. Nobody still knew who I was. So I started to then develop what Ask a Millionaire was about. So let me tell you how I started it out real quick. I had sold my tech company in 2013 that I had for 11 years. We had sold it for a pretty good little chunk of cash, and I moved out to Manhattan Beach, California, and I rented a beach house, and I was just taking some time off. I took 4 years off, and I was on Instagram, which I wasn't a real big social media guy myself because my business didn't need social media. We just made phone calls, and that's how we made sales. We didn't use social media like we do today. And so I started this account called Ask a Millionaire because I saw all those millionaire accounts on Instagram, with the yachts and the cash and the you got to make this money and all this stuff. And I'm like, who the heck runs these accounts? Because there's no name. You don't know who it is. And I'm like, who does this? And I'm like, it pissed me off. I'm like, I'm going to start an account. And so I started thinking about, well, what do people look at me at in my regular life? And I was a millionaire, and so everybody wanted to pick my brain. Everybody wanted to take me for a cup of coffee and ask me questions. So I said, I'm going to just call my account Ask a Millionaire, because a millionaire has that weird tone on it, right? Like, oh, he's a millionaire. Let's see how he got to that status. So I started Ask a Millionaire, and it wasn't with the idea of starting a business. It was just, I'm going to open up my life like I do with all my friends, and I'm going to answer questions. And that's where I got exposed to social media. And so this answers the question of, hey, Shawn, if you're a millionaire, why are you doing this? The reason why is because all of my successful friends, all of them, and I'm not joking when I say all of them, they would never do this. And you know how I know this is because I ask them. I say, hey, some of my friends are way more successful than me, have way much more money, they have awesome families, awesome lifestyles. I have to actually fucking pull the, excuse me, Millie, sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Ear muffs. If you've heard Gary Vee, then you know he cusses a lot. So does Tony Robbins. But so I say, I have to pull out the friendship card. Dude, if you're going to be friends with me, you have to do this for me. You just have to do this for me. Because some of my successful friends have way better stories than me, and so I have to say, come on my broadcast because I want you to share your story. And you know why? Because you won't. The only people that seem to be doing it sometimes are the people that do have the ulterior motives to make money. And the only reason they're on live stream is to make money, and it's so easy to see that that's why they are doing it. So you need to come share your story that you don't have to go out there and use social media to make money. There are plenty of businesses on the Inc. 500 and the Forbes 50 and Forbes 100 list that those CEOs and entrepreneurs are never on social media doing what we're doing. The stories of the businesses that you're creating, the way that you're balancing your life with your family and your friends and giving back to the community, people need to hear those stories. So once again, to answer the question, as a millionaire, why do I do this? Because most people won't that are in my position. So now let me take 2 to 3 minutes to give you an explanation of how I turned this actually into a mentorship business. And then I want to do a little bit of Q&A. These two beautiful women over here, Cynthia and Lisa, have microphones, and they're gonna let you ask questions real quick. But so what I did is over 2 years, I started Ask a Millionaire in March of 2015. Over 2 years, like many of you, I have done over 1,000 broadcasts. I have over, about 1.2 million followers across all social media platforms. Instagram was the place I just was drawn to. I'm a picture guy. I'm a visual guy. I got involved with some big accounts that helped me build it, and then I just got lucky that Instagram stories came out. But I started on Periscope 2 to 3 months after it started. And here is what I recognized, and this is where I drew my mission with Ask a Millionaire. I found that after talking to hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world, as you can see in my video, that there were 3 things that I could actually help people with. Because there's a lot of people out there that are kind of in my position that just talk a lot of rhetoric. They tell you need to go hustle, you got to go grind, you got to go work. And then people are like, but how? What do? I got the motivation, but I need some direction, my brother. And so I'm like, I saw 3 things that I could help with that I could really make a difference in people's lives. The first one was, even though there's a lot of successful people out there like myself and more successful, it's really hard to get those people to just take your phone call, to take your email, respond to you. And so I was like, more people need access to a mentor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a mentorship group. And I'm going to set the bar so low on a price perspective that people that normally would not be able to pay my $250 every half hour to talk to me could get in and have access to me. And so I created a mentorship group called Most Won't, I Will. People always ask me, what's the definition? How do you find success in your life? You do what other people won't do. That's how you're going to succeed. So I came up with the slogan, Most Won't, I Will. So I started that in October of last year. And since October, purely through live streaming, Periscope, then Instagram stories. I don't use Facebook Live except in my group. And Snapchat, I have almost 250 people from all over the world that have paid $200 to get mentored by me, a one-time fee. Ask people in my group that are here. You ask a question in my Facebook group, you get an answer from me. I don't have anybody running it except for me. So 50 grand, now in the global spectrum of business, 50 grand isn't a lot of money when I built a $20 million company, but 6 months into, or less than 6 months in, $50,000 of revenue to a business, helping people out, that feels way better than the big check that I got when I sold my company. Because I am affecting this major positive change on the world way more than the hotel business center computers that I installed all over the world when I had my company. Now the computers never called me up and said, thank you, man, you changed my life. But the people in my group, they email me every day and say, man, you're changing my life. I really appreciate everything that you're doing. So that's the first thing that I do is I mentor people and give them access to someone like me. The second thing I saw is from the questions that I received, because some of the most amazing businesses in the world get created simply by filling a need that is unserved. And I found a massive population, like many of you live streamers have your own tribes. You recognize what people need because they're telling you. If you listen to somebody, they're going to tell you what they want. Like Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, just believe them. And so I started listening. I said the next thing they needed was to learn how to sell. The people that gravitate to social media, to accounts like mine, the motivational accounts, they have not had any type of sales training. So we're in the process. I engaged my mentor, a sales trainer that trains Fortune 50 companies who would never be on social media. I actually had to teach him how to use an iPad. I have convinced him to start putting together all of the formal training programs that he does for big companies and start recording videos and creating a resource library so that people that don't have access to somebody of that caliber can actually learn how to sell, which is so important because there's so many people, like a lot of us in the room, that are getting into business, and we may know how to live stream, but a business is all about sales. It's about sales. You got to drive revenue. So we would put together sales training. The last thing was the younger generation that is not quite as connected to the Tony Robbins of the world who do amazing things. They just don't even know how to define success in their life. They're like me when I was a kid and I said, man, I want to be rich. But when I was younger, I had no idea what rich meant. I had no idea. I had no idea how to define it. I had no idea that money wasn't the only thing that was involved in becoming successful. There's God, family, love, friends, fitness, finance, and philanthropy. There's more than just money to define success in your life. So we're creating a full online course with workbooks and everything to help people learn how to just manage success. And success and the definition of it changes over time. Because my priority when I was younger was to be financially rich, so that was my priority, even above family, even above friends, and sometimes I even lacked my spiritual part because I was so focused on money. And then when I received that, I was like, okay, what do I do now? Money didn't make me happy. I didn't feel successful just because I had a big check. That lasted for about a week. after I bought the nice car and took my friends out partying. That wasn't success. That was just a quick gain. That was a quick celebration. So those are the three things that I do with Ask a Millionaire. And it all stemmed from doing exactly what many of us in this room do, which is selflessly giving our expertise, our passion, our information to the world for free, because we get just as much out of it. So if you were going to learn one thing from me today, and we'll go into a Q&A real quick, is this. Start to listen to your tribe. They will tell you in the form of their questions and their comments and their feedback, their thank yous, their you sucks. They're going to tell you what they would be willing to buy from you. And when you have that connection, like Alex said, like Cynthia said, if you provide the value, people don't mind paying you. Don't have a problem being the type of person that makes a ridiculous amount of money. Because if you are as good a person as I like to think I am, imagine how much good you can do for the world if you had more money than you knew what to do with. That's my speech. So let's open up to some Q&A. You guys got the mic? So let's do some Q&A. Cynthia and Lisa have some microphones. Liza's got a question. Let's open it up to some Q&A. Well, welcome to live streaming. Yes, I paid all of them. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Wouldn't it be kind of crazy if you're doing a Q&A and everybody just stood up like that? Thanks, Liz. I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right, so who's got a first question? Okay, over here.
Oh, hi. You mentioned Gary Vee and Tony Robbins. Who are some of, besides those two, who are your favorite influencers or personalities? And
so
also,
the question is, aside from Tony Robbins and Gary Vee, who are some of my inspirational influencer type people? I got to tell you, I didn't say they're my favorite. I just know they're very popular. I don't really watch a lot of people, to be very frank with you. I am so focused on my tribe and delivering value back that the people that I draw inspiration from, believe it or not, are more. I love musicians. If you guys were at the Para Girls thing last night, I actually got on stage and sang for a second, like just because you put a mic in my hand, I'm like, what did you think? I mean, I'm just pulling it out. So I love musicians. I mean, you listen. I mean, I can watch Amy Winehouse in her day and the things that she did with her instrument, and I get inspired by people that have ridiculous talent, and they will work relentlessly to be the masters of their craft, and they don't do it because money or fame. The best do it because they just want to be the best version of themselves. And the fame and the fortune just happens to come with it. So I get inspired by musicians, dancers, artists. Those are the people that I follow because I know how hard they work to get that talent. I don't follow a lot of traditional business people, even though I'm in business. But good question. I appreciate that. Back here in the back, Justin. So Justin, just so you guys know, I did a live stream last night at the hotel. Justin and Cam, girl over here, stand up, Cam. They actually said, hey, you're in Los Angeles, can we come see you? So I got them tickets to come, and we just met on live stream last night. So,
how y'all doing? Yeah. So he has a great Instagram account. My name is Justin. What is it going to take for me to get rich?
What's it going to take for you to get rich? I tell you, exactly what I just said. You have to just relentlessly go after whatever craft that you're going to go after. So he is a drone person. He already got an idea today just coming by listening to Roberto Blake about starting to get into live streaming, share his expertise as a certified drone operator out there on YouTube, Snapchat. People will pay for that kind of information. And the more value you provide, the more money you will make. It's that simple. It's a dollars and cents skill type perspective. To make more money, you just have to increase the skill that people will pay more for. It's that simple. And then just keep repeating the process.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it, man. Here you go, Steve.
Are you still hitting on Periscope as much as you used to, or did you kind of slow down, or are you still hitting it? Because I used to watch you, probably I'd say a year ago, and you were pretty aggressive on it. Are you as aggressive as you used to be, or are you moving to other networks, or?
Good question. Thanks for following. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you stopped following. Just kidding. So I used to use Periscope because it was the only one that was out there. I don't use Periscope quite as often, and the reason why is I actually like the technology of Periscope better than the rest, especially the save broadcast feature. However, because I had such a large following on Instagram, when Instagram Live came out, on a Periscope I might average in 30 minutes 2,000 live people coming through. On Instagram I can do 6,000 to 10,000. Just because of the size of my audience. And the audience that I have on Instagram, many people have been following the Instagram account for a while, so they have a longer-term relationship with me, whereas on Periscope, I was a brand new person that nobody knew about, so all of the questions were always the same, like, who are you? Explain what you do. And on Instagram, they already knew, so my relationship was already established. But I still go on Periscope because I do believe, and I've heard a couple people talk about this, especially Joel, is like I really take it the old school business approach to my live streaming and social media. I believe in the hub and spoke approach. My hub is always going to be my website and email list, because just like all of the Vine and Blab and Meerkat, I don't want to build my business around one platform that I can't control. So as using social media for my business, I have to be on all of them. I love Snapchat. I don't use it very often anymore because I just didn't see much of a return on investment. So I focus where I have the biggest impact for myself and for my business and on people. But Periscope, I still love Periscope. I go on at least a few times a month, but I just get more results. Back here. Thanks, Lisa.
Hi, I just wanted to note when you mentioned earlier what success was, that you mentioned the very first one was God, and I really like how you said that. And then this, my question actually is, what was your rags to riches kind of background, if you can share with us? Because you said when you were a kid, the success for you was to be rich.
Right. Good question. So did everybody hear the question? What's my rags to riches? So basically, my parents were in the Army. If you know anything about a military household, you don't grow up with a lot of money. If you want something, you're going to work for it. So I grew up in Alaska. So my story I would tell to my grandkids, if I even had kids, which means I'm probably not going to be able to tell the story, is when I was 12 years old, I delivered newspapers in Alaska for 3 years. So I started at an early age. But I tell you this, the reason I'm so passionate about being a mentor is I had a big win in my life when I was 21 years old. I got a record deal on Warner Brother Records. I traveled the country for a year, singing, got on MTV, did all these things, and then at 22, they just said, hey, thanks, have a good life, we appreciate what you did. And at 22, I had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have a mentor in life. I didn't have anybody to turn to. So for 10 years, I still wanted the success, but I didn't have anybody to help. So I was just out there like a lot of people. I tried every get-rich-quick scheme you could think of. And after 10 years of being broke, living paycheck to paycheck, borrowing money from parents, I finally started my own company after another failed business. And then what I found succeeded was I finally found a mentor that helped me in the process. And through that, 4 years after meeting this guy, I was a millionaire, like literally. Because I knew, just like a lot of the motivational and rhetorical hype people out there on social media, I was motivated. I didn't need to be motivated. I needed somebody to tell me what to do. I needed somebody that I could say, I'm going to do this. Is it the right decision? And they could give me some information, because what you don't know is what can really hurt you. So by having somebody that I could talk to, they prevented me from making more mistakes that I would have continued to make. And that's how I turned it around. Thanks. So the company I had was, it was called Uniguest. It was a technology company, and we installed these business center computers, and the computers in the lobbies of hotels. So that was my idea back in 2002. Thanks. Yes, sir.
How's it going? My name is Jace. I had a question. When you first, start a channel or you start live streaming, it's kind of this tension between things that you like to do and things that you think other people would like to watch you do. How do you keep the content engaging for both you and the viewers as your viewership grows?
Great question. My answer is that if somebody doesn't like what I'm talking about, that's their problem, because all I'm doing is answering questions, So I just, that's the beautiful thing about what I do, is I don't really have to create any content. My content is just being a person that's going to answer questions from one successful guy's perspective. So whether or not you agree with it or not, that's not the point, what I try to teach people. So to answer your question, one of the things that I think that some of the people that are attracted to my style is, if you came to me on my stream and said, well, what's the best business I should get into to make a lot of money? I could be the type of guy that goes, oh, you need to get in real estate. You need to go get into online business. I don't do that, because what I learned is my role as a mentor is to share my experiences with you and arm you with information, and then you have to do with it as you will. So I say, whatever you love to do and whatever you have skill at and experience at in your life. So if you want to go into whatever business, go get some experience in that industry, learn it inside and out, save some money, get a second job, a third job, so that when you do start your business, you've got a greater chance of success because you've saved some money, you've proven that you got the work ethic. So I give them more of the basic bare principles and then let them put that information to work. Thank you. All right, well, how are we doing on time? Do I need to? I'm done? All right.